Welcome back to the channel. I'm Yi-Cheng, your Mandarin teacher online. But in this LLT series, I am your studying buddy. The LLT study group stands for Learn a Language for Travel, or Let's Learn Together. In this series, I'm learning Hindi and teaching Mandarin the same time. I would teach the Mandarin version about what I learned in Hindi part. What's your target language? What are you learning? Write it down in the comment section down below, and then even the part we are learning in your target language version, so that maybe I can get to learn a new language because you comment down. So in LLT number 1, we discuss about some questions like what target language you are learning, how long before you set off for your travel, because in this series is specific about learn a language for travel. Our slogan is learn the essential and keep it minimum. So we are learning the basic one, the essentials one. If there are multiple options in one target language, we are choosing as minimum as possible. LLT number 2, we talk about the basic sentence structure in Hindi, in Mandarin, and I would like to know what is it in your target language. LLT number 3, we learned and talk about greetings. There are a lot of greeting ways in each language, but we are learning the essentials and try to narrow down to just 1 or 2. In LLT number 4, we talk about how to introduce ourselves. And bonus, if you want to ask the local people or others' name in your target language or in Mandarin, in Hindi, feel free to write down how to ask someone's name in your target language. In LLT number 5, which is our episode today, we're talking about nice to meet you, or I'm happy to meet you. In Hindi, they use the sentence translated it more like it was nice, it was good to get together with you or from you for the first time. This is just my kind of understanding or translation to help myself to remember the sentence with my limited knowledge about Hindi. When I learn a language and the sentence or structure, I really like to kind of get to know how does all those words combine into one sentence. Like, I'm very bad at just memorize by heart without knowing each section, each tiny part stands for what. So I kind of try to figure out the grammar or at least the meaning of each word, each vocabulary. So it kind of helped me to form the sentence and remember it more easily, at least for me. Okay, so let me try it. Abse milka acha laga. Abse milka acha laga. Laga is the past tense of to feel. Acha is like nice, good. It felt good. It felt nice to get together. Like milka means together as I search the word. And then apse means from you. Combined together, it's kind of like it felt nice from getting together from you or with you. I'm still trying to learn and understand like all the particle word. By the way, in Hindi, they don't use preposition. I think they don't. They mainly use postposition. So their position word is after the noun they want to use. So for example, in English is to me. They use me too. Their position word is after the noun. Okay, so one more time. Apse mirka acha laka. I really hope there are someone who know or is native Hindi speaker that watch this video and feel free to let me know how I pronounce. Next one, it looks much shorter because it means me too. Mujhe bhi. I have heard of the version of bhi, like kind of you have b and you have h sound, and some is just pronounced all together, kind of like mujhe bhi. Like it doesn't hear the that much. It's more like breathing out the air. So it means me too. So if someone, like the local people, if they say nice to meet you first to me, then I can just use the easier version to say, oh, me too. I don't need to say the whole sentence. So what about in your target language? It's fine if we are keeping it minimum and you don't want to learn or write down what is me too in your target language. But how do you say nice to meet you or kind of similar translation in your target language? In Mandarin, we use I am happy to get to know you, specific for the first time. Kind of more like to meet you and get to know you for the first time, we use 认识 to mean to know someone. 开心 is happy. The sentence would be 我很开心认识你。我很开心认识你。I'm happy, I'm very glad to meet you, to get to know you for the first time. It's fine if you omit your subject here. If you just say, it's happy to meet you, right? So you can just say, 很开心认识你。很开心认识你。你 is you, 我 is I. If you decide to say the whole sentence with the subject I, then you need to be aware of that there are two third tone words in a row, which is 我 and 很. And that will make it into you need to do some tonal modification for third tone words. In that case, remain the one at the back as third tone. The one in front of it becomes second tone. Okay, so it will become second, third. 我很 You can check out the AMQ number 1. I discussed about how to do your tonal modification for third tone words. 我很开心认识你。我很开心认识你。I am glad, I'm happy to meet you. You can find materials out there on the internet that they teach another one, which is using 我很高兴认识你。我很高兴认识你。So 高兴 is kind of like delightful, happy, glad as well. Both of these sentences are correct, but the reason I would recommend using the first one, 开心, this one, is because comparing 开心 and the 高兴, these two phrases both standing for happy, glad, delightful. 开心 is much more used in other sentences, while 高兴 relatively is not used as often in like colloquial way in other sentences to like show, oh, I'm happy, da da da. 开心 is used much more. For example, after one day of meet up with your friend and so on, you can say, oh, I'm happy today. We would use 开心 instead of 高兴. 高兴 sounds so written way. So it's not as colloquial. So I would suggest use the phrase using 开心 because learn this phrase like 开心 and then you can put it in other sentences in the future when you want to talk about happy, this adjective. Okay, so one more time. 我很开心认识你. And the other one would be 我很高兴认识你. So I suggest using the 开心 one. And then we also gonna learn how to say me too in Mandarin, just in case if someone say I'm happy to meet you first, and then you can just say me too. I think in English you say you too, right? Because it's nice to meet you. Like for me, nice to meet you too. Okay, but in Mandarin we use me too instead of you too in this case. So you would say 我也是。我也是. Again, two third tone words in a row. Keep the one at the back, remain as third tone. The one in front of it becomes second tone. So second tone, third tone. 我也 So the whole phrase, 我也是也 means also. 是 we talk about it. This is to be. And in this case, it's emphasizing on I also am with whatever you mentioned earlier, with whatever your previous sentence. So it means I am happy to. I'm happy to meet you too as a complete phrase. So, just in case if someone say 我很开心认识你 first, then you want to just say me too. Okay, so in Mandarin we say I am happy to meet you too. We emphasize on subject am happy too instead of like in English version which is oh nice to meet you too, right? In this case. So now 我也是 Repeat one more time. I'm gonna practice my Hindi part, which is आपसे मिलकर अच्छा लगा. Do I even say it right with like all the tone or how you go up and down and stuff? आपसे मिलकर अच्छा लगा. And then me too would be मुझे भी. How about in your target language? How would you say nice to meet you or I'm happy to meet you? I'm happy to get to know you. Comment down below and teach me what you have learned. Next one, Mandarin. 我很开心认识你。我很开心认识你。Next one. 我很高兴认识你。我很高兴认识你。Both can stand for I'm happy to meet you, but I recommend the 开心 one because this phrase is more colloquial. It is used much more often when you want to emphasize happy this word. 高兴 it sounds way more like a written form, okay? So we don't really say it that much. Next one, 我也是 me too, or I am the same. I am like that as well. Okay, so that would be our LLT number 5. If you haven't checked out number 1, 2, 3, 4, make sure you go check it out and then make your progress and even comment down below. We can learn together because I'm your learning buddy, I'm your study buddy, and you are my study buddy. Look forward to talk to you and learn with you again in our next episode. I will see you again then. Bye for now.